All right, we're going to go ahead and jump in. First and foremost, thank you for joining us. We have a great set of teachers and students joining us today, and we are going to promise to surprise and delight you. So, first, my name is Amber Trout, and I'm the Senior Community and Social Media Manager here at Magic School. And if you do need to reach me after, amber@magicschool.ai, you can always do so. And I was a former educator for 11 years, so I know that there is plenty of you probably here to learn great things, to save time, and to, of course, engage your students. So we promise to do that today. But I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Andrew so he can introduce himself as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Davies, and I am also a community and social media manager here at Magic School. I'm also a former educator. I was an educator for 15 years, and most recently, I was a digital learning coach in Texas. You can reach me at andrew@magicschool.ai. So pretty easy to remember, Amber and Andrew at magicschool.ai if you need anything from either of us. So we're excited y'all are here, and we're excited to dive in and talk a little bit about AI literacy.
Awesome. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. But before we do so, I would love to be able to take a moment and share with you all a little bit more about our people that are joining us today.
Yeah, so my name's Maggie Zeidel. I'm a senior at Richmond High School, and I'm planning to attend Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, not Ohio State. I'm thinking I've been through a few different, I was really on education for a while, but now I'm leaning towards forensics. I've always really loved biology, criminology, crime scene, all of that fun stuff. So I kind of landed on forensics for now.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Marin, feel free.
I'm Marin Bolster. I'm also a senior at Richmond High School. I'm undecided on where I want to go to college next year, but I want to major in sports management and hopefully play basketball.
Awesome. And their teacher is joining us today as well, Jeremy Hill, who is going to be the person who has started this really cool tech team. And so we're going to do that in just a moment and share more about it. But Jeremy, if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy Hill. I'm an e-learning specialist for Richmond Community Schools, and I was an English teacher for 19 years, and then I've been leading the tech team for the last 9 years.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. And we're going to start off with a little bit of a preview of Magic School and Magic Student, which has had a glow up in the last couple of days. And so if you haven't seen the new Magic Student side of Magic School, we're just going to preview that today. So while we do that, Andrew is going to kind of take you through a little bit more of that. I'll let him share his screen.
All right. Well, we couldn't have a Magic School webinar without sharing a little bit about what Magic School is, just in case you are new to the platform. So, in essence, what Magic School is it's a plethora of AI tools that are pre-prompted for educators. So we have, if you look at the dashboard, you can see that we have a ton of different tools. You can see mine has a lot of tools that are customized and different things here. But you see a lot of different tools here that are already prompted for you. So that way, whenever you create an output like a rubric, it's going to look like a rubric that a teacher might expect. So if you've heard of the large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and so on and so forth, what we've done is we've taken that technology and we've prompted it so that way it will, like I said, give you an output that's designed and ready for you as an educator. Now, just to show you kind of briefly what those tools look like, because they all work very similarly, I'm just going to open the rubric generator to give you an idea. So here on the rubric generator, you'll see there's different parameters or different fields that you would fill out. We also have this nifty little paperclip button that allows you to upload different types of documents. You can even link to a website, so that way the AI will reference those things as you're creating anything within Magic School. But to save time, I'm going to go ahead and click the exemplar button to pre-populate this tool. And this is going to be an example of a ninth grade argumentative essay rubric. And so I'm going to hit generate, and then it's going to create that rubric for me. Now, many of you might be saying, cool, Andrew, I've seen this before. I've been using Magic School. And I consider this to be kind of our entry level point where you as a teacher can get started using AI in a very quick and easy way. So it gets you a good starting point, and then from there you can continue to edit, you can continue to change your prompt to get different outputs, but that's the basics of what the teacher-facing tools can do. Now, but what we're here for is we're here to talk about student use and AI literacy. So I'm going to go back to the Magic Tools, the teacher dashboard, and I'm going to go over to the left and click on Magic Student. Now, if you haven't been in Magic Student in a while, you're going to notice it looks very different today because just a few days ago, we have updated the dashboard. So I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of what's changed. So here on the dashboard for our Magic Student platform, you'll see up here at the top, you can now see your most recent student rooms that you've created. And if you're asking, what is a student room? I'll explain that here in a moment. You also have student room templates to help you get started. So we actually created 3 starter rooms that you can utilize and you can preview as well, which I'll show you in a moment. And then we have a new library of room templates that we've also designed that has, I believe, 81 templates. I think Amber said earlier to me, 81 templates that you can actually utilize and get started right away with all different types of topics. And this is searchable as well. Then we also, at the very bottom, we've just got some quick videos to help you get started. We've been trying to make tons of content for YouTube and other social media channels to kind of help teachers find ways to creatively use Magic Student with their students. Then you also have access to all of your rooms that you've created here in this library of rooms that you have previously utilized. And then you have a tools playground where you can just try out tools and see what they would look like on the student end. Now, what a room actually looks like. So if you're brand new to this, I would start out going to one of our student room templates and clicking on the preview button. So when I click here, you're going to actually get a look at what the student experience looks like. So what I love as a former digital learning coach, one of my passions was digital citizenship and now AI literacy. And I love that students are met with this every time that they join the room. So basically, this is a responsibility pact that students are making a promise to the school, to themselves, to their peers, to their teachers, their parents, everybody, that they're going to use this tool responsibly. And I always recommended to teachers to turn this into mini lessons where you can walk your students through the responsible use of AI before jumping into Magic Student. But I'm going to assume that I've done that, and I'm going to click I acknowledge. So here, the students, as you can see, their view looks very similar to the teacher view. But what's different is they don't have all the tools in front of them. The tools that they have here are just the tools that the teacher has allowed them access to. So what's great, and when as we tie this back into AI literacy, as students are learning to use these tools, this is a great moderated way for teachers to give students guidance on when is it appropriate to use AI, what tools work best, what functionality works best for every given topic and every given subject. So here the students can actually open one of these tools like the Make It Relevant tool, use this tool, and then they can go back and forth with it, and it saves their outputs as well. Now, on the teacher side, the last piece I'll show you, when you go back to your dashboard and you go to a student room that's already been utilized, I'm going to go to let's see, my favorite rooms here is one of my little arcade rooms that I made. So in this room, once I click on the room, I can see all the interactions that students have had within that student room. So if I click on Andrew here, I can see what tools Andrew has engaged with, and it tells me a little AI generated summary of what that engagement looked like. Throughout this room, you see a few little yellow flags. Those are little spots that the teacher might want to go look at to see what was happening in that conversation. Maybe it should have been flagged, maybe it shouldn't have. Like this one, I gave a thumbs down because it really wasn't that big of a deal that used the word brute, which in the context wasn't a big deal. But it will flag different things for you that are inappropriate, or maybe if there's a cause for concern in a conversation. Lastly, we have the room activity tab where you can see your entire class's activity as well, their engagement level with the different tools, how often they're using them. And I think this can be really powerful if you're utilizing student rooms for accommodation purposes, because you can actually track and see how often students are using individual tools. Now, if you want and then I said that was the last thing. It's not the last thing. If you want to create a brand new room yourself, that's where you would go up to this top corner and you would build a student room. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing you that today. We have a lot of content that can show you and walk you through how to do that. But that is there for you as well to create your own room once you've tried out the ones that we've created for you. And last but not least, we have a really awesome section down here on the bottom left panel that says Student AI Literacy. If you click there, we have an entire page dedicated to students. And if you scroll about, I think it's almost all the way down the page, you go to View Resources. And here we have AI literacy resources for students. We have resources for educators that are educator facing, parent facing, and then student facing that you can utilize to help build those AI literacy skills across all stakeholders. So that is it in a nutshell. I know it's very fast paced. We want to get to our student guests here and let them kind of have the rest of the show. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Amber.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this. We can see my screen. Good to go. Okay. So we're going to talk about a little bit about who is here with us today, which is the tech team from Richmond High School. So you met all of them. You're going to talk to them in just a moment, but they are a team that has really blown away when it comes to like using tech in the schools. And so I'm going to give you just a quick little overview video of kind of what they do there so that you can have an understanding of who you're going to be speaking to today and the great things that they're doing. So have a look.
We're in charge of laptop repairs and laptop replacement insurance. So like if you have a broken keyboard, screen, we handle all of that stuff.
They'll let you work on the laptops, kind of show you around how to do stuff.
We get really great opportunities being a part of the tech team.
It's also a really great community, and I've met a lot of cool people through it.
What we specialize is helping out teachers, students, peers, any technological issues that they have, computers-wise.
Helps out the school by not only evenly distributing the work, but also progressing these students' careers early on.
So just so you're aware, they are helping teachers implement technology into their classrooms, including AI. So they are the epitome of AI literacy, understanding the safety, security, all of the things that you can do, and all of the really cool things that you can do with AI. So without further ado, let's bring on Marin and Maggie, and they will be able to tell you a little more about all the great things they're doing. I'll start with Marin, if you would like to, and just tell us a little bit more. Can you describe the AI projects that you've been working on?
Yeah, so I actually last year started to run my own camp in our small town. It's a camp for middle school girls playing basketball. But with this, I have to get a lot of donors involved and reach out and do a lot of different presentations. This has happened a lot this year as well, moving into my second year of the camp. And so with all of the presentations that I do, to curate each of them to each specific place that I'm doing the presentation to, I use Presentation Generator on MagicSchool, and it helps me use kind of the same format to like go through so it all makes sense and use my notes from all of that, but then it makes it into something that's for each of my specific places that I'm presenting to and trying to ask for money. And it's really great, and it does it way faster than I can do it, and honestly makes it look better than I can do it. So it's great there.
Let me unmute myself. There we go. Okay. Awesome. All right. Maggie, if you want to just tell us a little bit more about the project that you're working on and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I kind of bounce back between a few different projects. I don't have a cool basketball camp like Marin does, but I do run the environmental club at my high school. A lot more kind of marketing or engagement goes into that than you would think. So I use the Create a Skit tool for MagicSchool. We have school announcements. It's kind of like our mini news outlet for our high school. And so I just put we like put a skit in. We have a limited amount of members in our thing. So we put how many members we want in the skit and then what we want it to be based on. So a few weeks ago, we did one on proper recycling, and we put that in, and it did a really funny, like cute little skit that we could put on the PSA. So I use that one a lot. But then also for volunteer recognition, we go a lot of places over town helping recycling, cleaning up our parks. But there are a lot of hidden people in that help us be able to get over there and actually do the work that we need to do. So I use the thank you note feature to write thank you notes to all those people, because like even the parks and recreation people, they help a lot with that. So I try to get it around to all the hidden people.
So awesome. Thank you both for sharing a little more about your projects. I know when we were speaking to you at the very beginning, we were just like so blown away about the things that you're doing, like building donation, flyers, building out campaigns and graphics through the generators. So it's just really cool to see what you guys are doing. But go ahead and just give us, it can be for either one of you, or if both of you want to jump in, we're just kind of going to have some conversation. But what inspired you to use Magic Student for your project?
For me, I think it was that there was so many different options instead of other AI tools. This one kind of splits up the rooms. So you have one tool that will tell you like, hey, you can write a thank you note, and then one tool that has Adobe Image. But the fact that it's all like separated and kind of organized better really helps me personally. There's not all of these things jumbled up into just like one stream of like a paragraph, giant paragraph with everything in it. I really like that I can separate it, and it helps me visually just kind of in my mind navigate through all that better than just like a paragraph of nonsense.
Exactly, right? Martin.
So for me, what kind of drew me in was you guys talk a lot about like the AI safety of it all, but it actually is really important when you're looking at it. I was really hesitant to start using AI in my day to day. But after Mr. Hill had kind of sold me on MagicSchool and what it does, you realize that it's not as intimidating or scary as you thought, especially because of what Maggie said with the rooms being broken up. You can really identify what you want to get done and use it to kind of bounce ideas back. And we always say a thought partner, and it's really important to use it as that and not as something to get your work done for you. And that's why I really love using it. And then the other thing is when I go in, I normally use our tech team room, and Mr. Hill can see everything that I put in there, which ends up working out great because I'll type in a bunch of ideas, but then I can always go back and ask him, even if I don't remember what I was thinking at the time, he can see everything that I was saying and thinking and what it said back to me. And we can even go farther together and working through it together and collaborate there too.
Love it. And Mr. Hill, I have a question for you, and I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Yep.
Using Magic Student is really going to help the students with their AI literacy and helping with all of that. But how did it make you feel comfortable for students to use AI when they were using Magic Student? What was the deciding factor on why you thought this was the best tool?
Well, we wanted a guardrail because at Richmond Community Schools, our biggest thing is we want our kids prepared for the future. So we're really lucky to work in an area where everybody wants us to push the bar, but they want us to do it safely. So we know that kids are going to use AI. We just did a survey a while back, and 87% of our students reported that they were using AI in some way. So we want to give them an opportunity to do that in a safe way. So MagicSchool gave us the opportunity for the information coming in to come through an educational lens, and it also prevents all that information from going out. So like Marin was talking about earlier, we talk about a lot about your online portfolio and what you're doing online, and everyone can see that. And so it's good that they're hesitant to use that. And then so as a parent, I'm really happy about that because I know my kids are getting good information coming in and we're not releasing stuff going out. On the teacher side of it, I love the fact because really in the year 2025, we need to really grade the process rather than the product because there's so many different ways of just getting to that product. So like they were talking about earlier, we collaborate all the time. And most of my kids, I have about 30 kids throughout the day, and they're never really together because they're in different class periods and stuff like that. they can see what they're doing and they can see that thought process. So if the Green Club is building PSAs and things like that, or if we're working with a construction company in town to help with an intern, even though they're not together, they can see the thought and they might say, "Ooh, I saw when you did that and I want to run back to that." As a teacher, I can grade that process and help them if they're not getting the results that they're wanting, to work with that prompting a little bit too. So for me, those are my favorite things: the safety and then the working through the process rather than just focusing on the product.
So helpful and love that. Yes, Andrew's giving you some applause. This is great. And also, just so you guys know, your principal is in the chat and she is bursting with joy for all of you. So amazing. But next question is, I want to just open it up for any of you to talk about what message or advice would you like to share with other students that are using AI and how they could do it more wisely and responsibly.
I think a big thing is kind of AI in general, but more specifically Magic School, is to get to know the tools that Magic School offers. Going through, Mr. Hill opened up the Magic School room so that we had all of the tools, which was a little overwhelming at first because there's just so many to choose from. So I kind of went through and dedicated like an hour to getting to know each tool and seeing which one it would offer, so that when I went to do a specific project, I knew exactly which tool I needed and which tool would do the best job. So definitely just, and not even Magic School, just any AI. I think definitely just getting to know what AI you're using and what specifically it's really good at is a really key part in AI as a whole.
So we actually presented to my message. Hers was a little more for students, but mine would be for teachers. We were able to present to our board about Magic School, Maggie and I, and a couple other students and Mr. Hill. And a lot of people are really hesitant. A lot of teachers are really hesitant to start using it, and they don't want us to just plug it in and get the answer. But my message is, don't be scared of it, because if you're scared of it right now, you're not going to know how to use it in the future. And for us, if you don't teach it to us as a teacher or let us use things that are safe like Magic School, then in the future, we're not going to know how to use it when we get into the real world. And it puts us behind, and you want to put us at the best position possible in the future. So I would say don't be scared of it, because it's going to keep moving without you if you don't get on board.
So well said, Marin. So great and amazing that that's the perspective that you have on it as a student. And I know that when we were having conversations with you guys at first, you were saying like, we're using it whether you like it or not. It's just, let's figure out the safest way, because there's places like the Snapchat and all the things that we're knowing that those ones are not the greatest opportunities to utilize. Jeremy, I'm sure you have thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, and that's the problem. Like if we don't offer them something that's productive that they use, that's exactly what they're going to use, and so that's what we want to try to avoid. And so one of the things that really sold our teachers and us on it when we first got it, we spent 2.5 weeks trying to break it. So we tried to get it to do things that we thought maybe a freshman boy would try to do with the image creator or with the joke tool, or try to get it to give us bad information. And then through that, it was a lot of fun and we learned a lot about it, and it really performed excellent. And so then when we went to present it to teachers, they felt great about that.
Amazing. Absolutely. Andrew, you want to take the next question? Feel free. I highlighted it in there.
No, I see. Yeah. So going back to talking to teachers, and trying to encourage teachers who might be hesitant to jump in with AI. What else might you say to teachers on, getting started using AI with students? Like, what could they do to kind of dive in?
For me, I will always go back to the tried and true method of like looking at kind of experimenting yourself. But I really like doing in-depth research on a lot of things. It makes me feel more comfortable, just like so that I know like my stance on it. So I would, in a teacher's perspective, kind of go back, look at a few different AI tools, see what I want to use, see what fits like my personal how I teach. But also asking kids, I think it's so valuable to ask kids. They have like a different perspective than a lot of the teachers do, and then sometimes they also like align really well. So asking all your kids like, what do you guys use? What are you more comfortable with? What kind of teaching style works best for you, visual, all that kind of things. I think just like student engagement is really, really nice when you're jumping into something really new.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with Maggie, especially on the asking students like what they need out of it. It's we're the ones using it, so it's really important to know how we're going to use it. But I think that's also kind of important to have really good communication with your students, because a lot of the time the reason it's scary is because, like I said earlier, you don't want it to just give you an answer. But if you're open in how you want your students to use it and you're teaching them how to use it in the right way, where you're grading the process and you're having them focus on how to make their process the best it can be, it makes it less intimidating. I would also say a lot of our teachers, they didn't go straight into it and make everything they did AI involved and every lesson that we did with it. You use it every few assignments and you use it here and there until both you and your students get comfortable with it. And it's way easier for everybody to be less overwhelmed in it all. So yeah, just piece by piece.
You
Love
heard it
that.
here, folks.
Yep. Listen to your students. I love that.
Exactly. Anything else, Andrew, that you wanted to add, or other questions that you had right now?
Like just asking you girls personally, like what are your favorite magic student tools to use? Like what do you go to most often and why?
Um, I really, really love website design. It's like my big thing right now. I'm currently designing, actually, I like website design, anything designing. I'm currently designing t-shirts and merch for a kid at our school that is trying to upstart his rap career. It's been a really interesting journey, but I've actually used the Adobe image generator MagicSchool tool, and it you like put in a prompt and then it gives you a couple different things, and we've had some really cool graphics and images that I've put on his merch, and then like also his album cover for one of them. But it's come up with some really cool things, so I like to experiment with that. It's also really nice for websites if you want like a really specific graphic.
And then for me, everything I do, especially right now in this time of the year, is really focused on my camp. I love it a lot. And so I do a couple meetings a week normally. And so I go to that presentation generator a lot, crafting it, making it perfect for each thing that I'm going to. But the other thing I use with that is the Raina tool, where you go in and you kind of just like ask questions and then she responds and you kind of can bounce ideas back and forth. And that one's really nice if I'm looking at like different marketing ways or different ways that I want to structure the camp. That's really nice to have somebody, even if I'm working on it by myself, I can bounce ideas off of something else. So that's really helpful too. And I would probably say I go to those two the most.
Awesome. I love it. I know that we not just you two are the ones that are using Magic Student at your school. You have other students that are working with Magic Student, and you have kind of talked to us a little bit about it. And I definitely want to touch on the one that you talked about with the accessibility and how he is addressing accessibility within Magic Student. Does anyone want to share a little more?
Yeah, I can do it, Maggie. So we have a student, his name is Gama, and he's really, really great. He is bilingual.
Oh, yeah.
So he speaks Spanish and English, but he also has helped us get out the word about the translation part of Magic School. And it's what a lot of the ELL teachers have really, really loved, is that I even interviewed one of the ELL teachers, and she said her favorite tool was the translation tool because she can drop in a whole PDF of a worksheet she has made for somebody in Spanish or English and make it Japanese, because we have a few students and she obviously could do it herself, but it would make it so much easier if it was just dropped in there and done for her. And she wouldn't have to do that for each language and go through and try to translate it. And she said it's way better than any other like Google Translate or anything. Those don't work the same. So he has gotten the word to all of the ELL teachers and how much better it can be if they use that. He's done a great job for us.
Yeah, he was incredible. He made a Loom video to walk teachers and students through how to use MagicSchool, and he did the whole thing in Spanish. And so that really got it started, and that was incredible. What we did, one of our best PDs, the kids, we had a draft, like an MBA draft, and they wrote down their 2 teachers that they were picking. And then they took something that they had done in class with those teachers or were currently doing, and then they talked to those teachers about how they could use MagicSchool for it. So that really helped them to get started and said, okay, here's a tool, this could work for this, blah, blah, blah. And so that was super helpful. But that accessibility piece and the things that GAMA and our ELL department has done, you know, that teacher can set up a room that just has the ELL tools in there for that student. So then no matter what class a student's in, if they need help with that, they can jump back to that room and they have it. Then when they come back to the ELL teacher later in the day, she or he can see through that chat and that history what the student's been working on and what kind of questions they've had and what kind of struggles they might have. So they get that insight right away, and that is live, important data. And so that's been super helpful.
Love that. And we're going to need to have him on the next episode of Magic Student.
Character who would love it. You would have a great time.
Well, anything else, Andrew, or anything else that you ladies would love to add or ask, answer anything? Okay. Well, this was an amazing conversation about all the great ways that you are seeing the tool being used and using the tool itself. And we are so grateful that you guys came today. And just a little side note, I have talked to Jeremy about having more of his students continue this with us. And we are going to be launching our MagicSchool Student Council series coming up. And our first episode will be in May. So come back again to see more of these students talking about all the great ways they're utilizing the tool and sharing with all of you teachers. So you're going to be getting a recording of all of this. Don't worry if you have friends that missed it or if you want to do the replay later. Also, you're going to be getting an email with all the resources, links to their tech team so that you can see more of that. And also you're going to be getting some MagicSchool Plus access. So don't worry, you're going to get all the great things to do exactly what they've just told you about. So please come back for the next Student Council series. We're so excited. Tomorrow is AI Literacy Day, and we wanted to make sure that everyone saw the great ways that you can utilize these tools and be safe and responsible online with Magic Student. So thanks again for being here, and we hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all next time.